Okay, so picture this. It's July 24th, 1989. You're in a police helicopter hovering over this vast, rugged national park in Hokkaido, Japan.
Daisetsuzan National Park. It's beautiful, but it's also volcanic.
Hmm.
Super unforgiving terrain.
Totally. And the police are in the middle of a search and rescue. They're looking for two hikers, guys from Tokyo who got lost in a storm.
Which is, pretty standard operation for that area. High stakes, for sure, but it's what these teams do.
Right. And then they see it. The pilot looks down near a river, the Chibutsugawa, and there on the ground is just this massive SOS sign.
And it's not subtle. It's made of huge birch logs in a sea of green and gray rock, something that geometric just screams for attention.
It's the perfect signal. And it works. The rescue team goes down. They find the two Tokyo men about 2, maybe 3 kilometers away from the sign.
They get them out. They're exhausted, but they're alive. Mission accomplished.
Exactly. Champagne corks are popping. It's a feel-good story for the evening news. Until they start the debrief back at the station.
That's where it gets strange.
Yeah, so the police are talking to the rescued hikers, probably giving them coffee, and they say something like, "That SOS sign you built was incredible. Your resourcefulness saved your lives."
And the hikers just look at them, totally
Yeah.
confused.
And they ask, "What sign?"
What sign? They didn't build it. They hadn't even seen it.
The room just goes silent. Because if the guys they just rescued didn't build the sign, then who did?
And that's the whole mystery. That's the question.
That is what we are diving into today. This is the story of the Ghost SOS. It's a locked room mystery on the side of a volcano involving what seems to be a physical impossibility and a cassette tape, that is. Well, it's one of the most haunting things I've ever heard of.
It really is. The clues just don't add up. They almost contradict reality.
So the very next day, July 25th, the police realize the job isn't done. They fly back out to that sign.
Because there's someone else out there. Someone who needed help.
But when they get there, they don't find a person. They find a scene that feels like it's been waiting for them for a very, very long time.
And to understand what they found, you have to understand the geography of this place. Because it's not just random wilderness. It's a trap.
A trap? How so?
Well, there's a landmark on the mountain that hikers use. It's a massive square boulder called Kinko Iwa, the safe rock. If you see it, you know you're on the right trail to get down safely.
Okay, so it's like a beacon. Follow the big square rock.
In theory, yes.
Yeah.
But nature played a really cruel trick here. There's another huge rock nearby that looks almost identical, especially from a distance or in bad weather.
Let me guess.
The locals call it Nis Kinko Iwa, the fake safe rock.
Oh, that's brutal. So if you make a mistake...
If you follow the fake safe rock, you don't find the trail. You get funneled into a deep, inescapable ravine. You're walking confidently towards what you think is safety, but you're walking right into the mouth of the trap.
And once you're in there, it's not just about climbing back out. There's the bamboo, the sasa.
Right, and this isn't, the pretty bamboo you see in gardens. This is dwarf bamboo, and it grows thick like a carpet. But the way it grows is the key.
I heard it described as a natural ratchet. What does that mean?
Think of a zip tie. Easy to pull one way, impossible the other. The sasa grows pointing downhill. So sliding down into the ravine is actually pretty easy. The stalks just bend with you.
Like going down a slide.
Exactly. But the second you realize your mistake and try to climb back up, you're fighting against the grain. The bamboo tangles your feet, it points at your chest, it becomes an impenetrable wall.
You literally can't go back. The door locks behind you.
That's the Sasa trap. And that is where the police found this giant SOS sign.
Let's talk about the sign itself, because this is where the story shifts from just a tragedy to something else. High strangeness.
The scale of it was just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It was built from 19 fallen birch trees. 19.
And these are not small branches.
No. Each log was about 5 meters long. That's around 16 feet. And they weren't just laid flat. The person who built this stacked them up to 3 logs high to create shadows so it would be more visible from the air.
So as a 3D structure, they knew what they were doing.
They did. But the physics of it, a fresh 16-foot birch log weighs about 70 kilograms. That's 155 pounds.
155 pounds for one log.
And there were 19 of them. The total estimated weight that was moved is around 1,343 kilograms, nearly 1.5 tons.
1.5 tons of timber, moved by someone who was lost, starving.
And injured. Near the sign, they found skeletal remains and personal items belonging to a man named Kenji Iwamura. The autopsy described him as thin and weak.
And didn't the bones show fractures?
They did. Fractures that happened before he died. He most likely broke them falling into the ravine.
So hold on. A starving, weak man with broken bones somehow moves 1.5 tons of trees. That doesn't seem possible.
It shouldn't be. Biomechanically, it's a contradiction. At that stage of starvation, your body is consuming its own muscle. You shouldn't have the strength to stand, let alone become a lumberjack.
And what about cutting the trees? Did he have an axe or something?
That's the other part of the mystery. The cuts were clean, they needed a tool, a saw, an axe, something. But the police found nothing like that. No large tools were ever recovered from the site.
How is that even possible? A broken man, no axe, and he builds a monument.
The best guess is something called hysterical strength. You know, that burst of adrenaline that lets people lift cars, but that lasts for seconds. This would have taken days.
Days of agonizing work.
For a healthy person with tools, it's estimated to be a 2-day job. For Kenji, in his state, it's just unfathomable.
There is that one theory, though, that kind of connects to his belongings, the Astro Boy theory.
Right. In his backpack, they found items that showed he was a huge fan of manga and anime, especially the work of Osamu Tezuka.
And in the Astro Boy manga, there's a specific scene where a character makes an SOS sign out of fallen trees.
Exactly. So the theory is, in his final delirium, his brain latched onto that story. He was reenacting a scene from a manga he loved, thinking if he followed the instructions, the hero would come save him.
God, that's so tragic. He was following a survival guide that wasn't real.
And yet he built it. But as strange as the sign is, what they found in his backpack is even more haunting.
The tape recorder.
The backpack was stuffed in a little hole in a tree root, probably his shelter, and inside was a portable cassette player.
Most of the tapes were, like, anime theme songs, right? Macross, Magical Princess, Minky Momo. Just normal stuff for a young guy at the time.
Totally normal, except for one tape.
The one that was different.
When the police hit play on that one, they heard a man screaming. But it wasn't. It wasn't a panic scream.
No, it's described as syllabic shouting. It's deliberate. He's breaking the words down.
He's shouting, one syllable at a time, with a pause between each one. Loud, clear.
The recording is just over 2 minutes long, and you hear this voice shouting, SOS, ta, suki, ta.
Which is help me in Japanese.
And the full message is even more specific. It says, SOS, help me. I can't move on the cliff. SOS, help me. The place is where I first met the helicopter. The sasa is deep, and I can't get up. Lift me up from here.
Where I first met the helicopter. That part is just chilling.
It means he saw one. He saw a helicopter probably days, maybe weeks earlier, and it flew away. It didn't see him.
He was referencing a missed rescue. A moment of hope that just vanished.
But the question is, why record it? It's a tape player, not a two-way radio. Why shout into a machine that can't send a signal?
I think there are a few possibilities. One is what some call voice banking.
Voice banking.
Think about it. He's dying. He's dehydrated. His throat is probably raw. He knows his own voice is going to fail him. So maybe he recorded his clearest, loudest plea on a loop.
So he could just press play if he heard rescuers coming. He was saving his strength.
It's grimly practical. The little speaker on the cassette player wouldn't have been very loud, but in his mind, it was a tool. It was something he could do.
What's the other theory?
Delirium. He could have been so hypothermic and confused that he genuinely thought the recorder was a radio. Or maybe he was trying to time his shouts to the sound of the helicopter blades he was seeing right then.
Trying to shout in the gaps between the womp-womp of the rotors.
Exactly, trying to punch through the noise. It's a picture of just absolute desperation.
He knew he couldn't walk out. He says, lift me up, not find me.
He knew he was in a hole he couldn't climb out of. The Sasa trap was real, and the only way out was vertical. The very helicopter he couldn't signal.
That tape is a recording of the exact moment a person realizes their luck has run out.
It really is. It's an audio document of despair.
And for a while, the police weren't even sure it was him, right? The identity got really mixed up.
Yeah, that was a major forensic error that sent the investigation down the wrong path for almost a year.
The first autopsy on the skeletal remains came back identifying them as female.
A female aged 20 to 40. But everything in the backpack, the driver's license, the clothes, belonged to Kenji Iwamura, a man who had gone missing 5 years earlier in 1984.
So the police have a man's belongings next to what they're being told is a woman's skeleton.
And of course, the theories just exploded. Was he with a secret girlfriend? Was it a murder-suicide? It took until February of 1990 for them to re-examine the bones.
And they realized their mistake.
Right. Kenji was described as thin, and after 5 years of exposure, the bones were degraded. The initial assessment was just wrong. It was him. It was only Kenji.
So he disappears in 84. He's found in 89. But this takes us back to the sign. the Ghost SOS?
This is the final piece of the puzzle.
Mhm.
After they confirmed the location, the forestry agency checked their archives of aerial photos. And there it was.
Yeah.
In a photo from September 20th, 1987, the SOS sign was already there, clear as day.
Wait, 1987, so the sign had been sitting there completely unnoticed.
For at least 2 years, maybe longer. Think of all the commercial flights, all the other helicopters that must have passed over it. It was a giant message in a bottle that no one read.
Shouting into the void for years.
Until those two hikers in 1989 got lost in the exact same place, in the exact same way.
And that is the final mind-bending irony of it all.
It is. Kenji Iwamura died alone. He put every last bit of his impossible strength into that sign, and it didn't save him. He recorded his voice, and no one heard it in time. But the sign worked. It just had a 5-year delay.
It saved the two hikers in 1989.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
The helicopter pilot was drawn to that specific area because of Kenji's sign. His Ghost SOS reached out across time and saved two complete strangers.
His last act, a desperate plea for his own life, ended up being an act of salvation for someone else long after he was gone.
It's a ghost story with this strange, delayed redemption. His call was answered. It just wasn't for him. It's a reminder that sometimes out there, the only thing separating a tragedy from a miracle is timing.
Wow, we'll be thinking about that for a
Yes.
while. A chilling story. Stay safe out there, everyone, and thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next deep dive.